Okay, welcome back. Where are we today? We're in Clacton on Sea. I'm going to London. I'm going to London today. Why not? It's just down the way. But first, I've noticed there's a frigate to the south of us, directly due south, and I feel I can do a bit of deck landings today. So why not? Let's go do it. Okay. Everything looks good. Let's get ourselves in the air. Here we go. Just stay there. Don't go anywhere for a minute. Let's just check our temperatures, pressures. I'm amazed the main rotor gearbox on this thing lasts for 2,600 hours, which is an incredible long time. I have to say, yes. We check all our T's and P's here because we can always just put the helicopter back down on the ground if anything's wrong. Right, no, nothing's wrong. Everything seems to be honky-dory. So, without further ado, let's find ourselves a frigate, avoiding lampposts as we go. So due south. You can raise the wheels. Yeah, so what's in the news today? Oh, there's more worries for the Russian Civil War. And people say, no, it's not a Russian Civil War, you're full. The Russians invaded Ukraine, it's a sovereign country. Well, you know, if you look at the history books, Ukraine's always been part of Russia, okay? And by the same history book, apparently India was British, okay, at one time. And there came a time when the Indians wanted the British to leave. Okay, and so the British went, hey, I say, that's frightfully beastly of you. But India's British, aren't you proud to be British? And they were British, they were. Anyway, the Indians got the knock, okay, and they didn't want to be British anymore, so the English had to leave, the British had to leave, and they did leave, and they made India independent, as did Russia. Russia made the Ukraine independent. And what happened is exactly what happened in India. India descended into a very bitter civil war, where the Muslims and the Hindus, I'm not giving you a history lesson, but the Muslims and the Hindus started murdering each other big time. And to cut a long story short, the British didn't go back in to keep the peace, right? They decided it was nothing to do with them, and they let the Indians sort it out for themselves. And this is how India got cut in half. Well, not quite in half, but it got divided into India and Pakistan. That's the very basic explanation of what happened, okay? So now you've got, instead of India, you've got India and Pakistan, and a lot of the Muslim people went to live in Pakistan, and the Hindu people moved from what is now Pakistan to what's now India, and to this day they don't like each other, okay? So that's a very basic explanation. So when we're looking at the Ukraine, what you've got is, it was Russian, okay? Russia gave them independence, and then they started killing each other. Only the difference here is the Russians have gone back in to sort of keep the peace. I mean, if the Russia wanted to invade the whole of the Ukraine and crush it, they would have done it by now. I'm convinced. And this is Russia we're talking about. You know, it's not a little tin pot Republic. I don't support Russia and I don't support the Ukraine either. Right, here we go. Let's have some wheels. I think this is our ship. And all the time it's been steaming towards Clacton on sea, so we'll do a few deck landings and takeoffs. That seems like a good plan before heading off to London. Watching a very interesting documentary last night on the aeroplane wrecks on the bottom of Lake Michigan. Now, apparently what happened was during the Second World War, when they were training pilots to land on aircraft carriers, America hadn't actually been in the war and it hadn't entered the war until the Japanese bombed the shit out of them at Pearl Harbor, which was a big wake-up call, and they thought, shit, we need to train loads of pilots to land on ships. So what they did, they thought, well, we can't use real aircraft carriers because they're at war, you know, we need training ships. So they got 2 big old ships that were for sale, and they ripped all the top decks off them and put a big flat top on them. I think one was a paddle steamer, so it wasn't a real aircraft carrier, but they were training ships, should we say. Training ships. Yeah, that's a good word. And they had them on Lake Michigan. And the pilots, the trainee pilots, had to learn to land, do 8 deck landings, I think, on these ships that were literally on Lake Michigan. And there's various types of Navy ships, naval aircraft that you'd be expected to land on a carrier with. And needless to say, some of them finished up missing the carrier or going off the side and finishing up in the sea, in the lake, and they finished up landing on the bottom of the lake. Anyway, cut a long story short, divers have been out to them, they've located them with sonar, and the divers go down, attach lifting bags to them, because the water isn't obviously too deep for divers to get down to them. So they attached lifting bags, lifted these aircraft, and the particular documentary I saw was they lifted a couple of Wildcats, a Hellcat, Corsair, Vought Corsair, and I think something else. That sort of era aircraft, and they all went off to museums, which is great because they said, you know, that the longer they're down there, the more they're going to decay, and that we won't be able to restore them and put them in museums. However, the problem is they're all serial numbered. They've all got dog tags under the bonnet, you know, under the hood, like a car, and they all belong to the US Navy, even though the US Navy clearly don't want them. They are property of the US Navy. But these guys go out there, they salvage them, bring them ashore. They tow them actually with lifting bags. They tow them all the way back to the boatyard, haul them out on the boat lift, and then they put them on trucks and take them away. And obviously people who want to restore them will restore them, because there's big money in Second World War warbirds, especially ones that actually took part in stuff. So it's good money. Now, I was thinking to myself, with that very thought in mind, there we go, perfect. With that very thought in mind, we could salvage aircraft from the bottom of the sea, German aircraft, because German aircraft are where the money is. They're the big money aircraft are the things like the Stuka, anything Luftwaffe, because the German government is not going to want to claim ownership of it, are they? Of anything. So if you go to places like Malta, Malta is what it was, according to legend, was the most bombed place in the world at one point in its existence during the Second World War, and the Italian Air Force and the Luftwaffe had been bombing the hell out of it. So there will be lots of wrecks, I would imagine, in the sea around Malta of German and Italian aircraft. Probably quite a few British ones as well. So if divers can locate them, go down to them and attach bags to them, lifting bags, bring them to the surface, then tow them to the boatyard. Collectors can then purchase real that's good. Ooh, there's a back end hanging over. Back end's not quite on there, look at that. That's not quite good enough. Okay, we'll try again. Yeah, the as I was saying, German aircraft obviously more valuable than anything else, and ownership, there'd be no quibbling I should say, about ownership. So there must be loads and loads of German aircraft in the sea around Malta. I don't know what sort of condition they'll be in after all these years, but it's probably not that good a condition. But you know, anyone who's into salvage and making money and can do diving, there's an opportunity there. You'd have to locate them first with I think they use sonar to locate them. A little bit more. There we go. How's that? That's better. You've got to watch that tail wheel. It's a very long tail wheel. You don't want it to go over the edge there. So I could have done something a bit further on, but I don't want the blades to hit the hanger. Not at all. It's quite a big helicopter. Okay. I was thinking that last night. Malta's probably a very good place. And Russia, they're always finding aircraft in Russia because it's such a remote place. You know, there's such a lot of nothing around in Russia, and there was huge battles in Russia as well. But Russia's not very friendly, are they? For that sort of thing, I wouldn't imagine. There we go. Okay, well, off to London now. I'll probably go to Southend by the looks of it first. So that was fun. I enjoyed a bit of shippery. Computer guided Gatling gun there on the back. See. Saturday morning, what did you do? Oh, not much. Just did a bit of flying, you know, landing on the odd ship. Right, east it is. West. East, west. Make your mind up. Wheels, let's get the wheels up. There we go. We need to aim for dry land first. Got some wind turbines up ahead. They're looking good to me. What else is in the news? They're all crying, aren't they? All crying about this Speaker of the Commons. Oh, woe is the world. Speaker of the Commons is accused of saying something he shouldn't have done. Couldn't care less. Don't know enough about it to make a comment either way. I'm really not interested. My opinion on these people, you know, is like people. I've had loads of people moaning about Sadiq Khan, who's the mayor of London. And I think, well, the people have voted for him, haven't they? If they don't want him in there, they think he's doing such a bad job, they'll vote for someone else, won't they? Surely. I don't know. I don't live in London. I don't know what Sadiq Khan's up to. And you've got Rishi Sunak. I think he's doing all right. I can't complain about him. I don't know that much about what he's getting up to, but he seems to know what he's doing. I don't know, but I'm sure that if the people don't like him, they'll vote for someone else, won't they? It's usually what happens. Right, we're coming up to the coastline now. We want to take a heading of 226, 240, something like that, yeah? We're on 240, okay. That'll do then. That should take me to Southend. I used to fly to Southend when I was doing my pilot's license. We had to do qualifying cross countries, and I remember how we found it. We had to look for Southend Pier because we were approaching from the south. And if you find the pier, follow the pier inland, then you can see the runway. So, hopefully that's how we'll find it, and then we'll end the flight at Southend, and the next flight we can go into London. See the King. I think he's at Sandringham, isn't he? Don't know where he is. He doesn't confide these sort of things in me. I think that's Southend anyway. Nice. So we'll follow the coast along here until we get to Southend Pier. And then we'll hang a right and go into Southend. Not been into Southend for yonks. Can't remember what the last aircraft I took in there was. Certainly the last real aircraft I took in there was a PA-28. And that was when I was doing my pilot's license. I don't think I've been in there since. This has got a moat. Anyway, like I say, I don't do politics on my channel. I'm really not interested in politics. Lots of people are. If you're interested in politics, you can go and listen to them. But I'm really not interested at all. Unless they're really, really badly out of order, like Boris Johnson. Hated Boris Johnson, couldn't stand him. Really anti-Boris. But generally speaking, nothing changes, no matter which party you vote for. In the UK anyway. Nothing changes. They're all as bad as each other. I say it's starting to rain. This is the Thames estuary. We're approaching, like, it gets narrower and narrower obviously until you go up the Thames and to central London. Okay, we go 090 from here. No, 270 from here. It should take. Whoa, what the hell is that? Oh, that's a glitch in the program. That, no way, that's should be there. Just flying, and I thought, what the hell is that? What is that? Look at that. It's like a hole that just disappears to the centre of the earth. I do not believe there's a hole here. That is freaky. Look at that. That's a proper glitch, isn't it? That's a very nasty glitch. Whoa. Okay, carry on. You do get glitches in computer programs. I found a glitch once where you could fly under a hill. You couldn't. The ground was solid, but you could fly under the hill and fly around under the hill. And if you came up and tried to go through it, you'd crash. Similarly, obviously, if the helicopter was to hit the ground, it'll crash. But there was just a glitch that allowed me to get under the hill. And that was weird. You do get glitches from time to time with computers. There's so many parts of the country that I've just never explored. You know, these fell walkers who go walking on the hills and that, they get a really good take on the countryside, but it's so slow, isn't it, walking? It'd take you a lifetime to walk everywhere, wouldn't it? It really would. That's if you could actually do it, and I don't think you could. So helicopter's much better. They're so expensive. This is one of the reasons I love Flight Simulator, because you know you just get the scenery updates and enjoy flying around the country. I love it. Absolutely fabulous. And I've heard people criticising Prince William, saying he shouldn't get involved in politics. Well, he shouldn't get involved in politics. No, he shouldn't. But he is going to be king. He's going to be the man. Right? So I am very interested in what he's got to say. Okay? Because what he says goes, doesn't it? He's going to be the king, and he's going to be the king for a long time. So he's only a young lad. Hopefully his dad will last about another 10 years for sure. At least, we hope. I don't know. Only time will tell. But I think William's already taking over a lot of the roles because his dad's not well, as you know. And it's very important that we take notice of what William says, because he's no fool. Basically what William says goes. So if William says more should be done about this and more should be done about that, these people have tremendous influence. They really do. Okay, now I do remember Southend Pier was enormously long. There's something here. Is this denoting the pier? I think it might well be. I think it is. I think that's supposed to be the pier. Because as I was approaching from the south, like I said, I looked for that pier and then look at that pier pointed to the airport, which was back there somewhere. Okay, so let's see if that is correct in explaining. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's the pier. Okay, so we'll get overhead the pier and then we'll follow that direction until we pick up the airport. Welcome to Southend. What's saying all that? My Southend. So we straighten up now, but we should have Southend Airport. Did it, mate? Did it? Because we had height restrictions as well around here. I can't remember what the height restriction was, but you've got approach zones here. You've got TMAs, Class A airspace for various airports. You've got Heathrow and you've got London City Airport. So the lower you are, the harder it is to navigate. And so you need tips like looking at the Southend Pier, for example. That's a good one. Okay, I think we can lower some wheels. Bum bum. 2 green lights. Here we are, Southend Airport. Just got to find somewhere to land. Do we have any helipads or anything like that? I don't know. Don't know. Have a quick look at Southend. Old wartime airport, obviously. Big T, one big long runway and a disused T piece like Tangmere. Tangmere was the same sort of configuration, large T. A lot of them were big A's, big triangular configuration. Okay, we've got the windsock. There's into wind. Some big aeroplanes here. Didn't realise Southend was into big jets. Must be. I think we'll park here. This looks like it's an out of the way spot. Gears down. Brakes on. Welcome to Southend. Thanks for watching.